So the first thing to do to take apart this cube is just to do the same thing that you would do on the 7x7 if you ever took that apart. Take out these outer 2 edge pieces. Not the inner one, because that actually goes down to the core in this cube. Then just start taking out the rest of the pieces, and the whole thing will come apart pretty easily after that. There we go. Now we're to the inner core structure, and then we can just simply slide out these centerpieces. Then once you reveal one of these inner screws, you can just simply unscrew that. And then the rest of the cube will fall apart. And there we are, and this is the inner skeleton of the cube. Now, one thing to note is that these screws here aren't tensionable. Those are just screwed right in. There's no springs involved. Alright, so the first thing to do is make sure that you have 2 of these screws screwed in, then start fitting in the edges between them along with the corner pieces. And then when you've got the rest put in there, I recommend that you put on the screw, but only screw it in ever so slightly. You need that extra flexibility to get the rest of the pieces in there. So just put in an edge and a corner and just keep going around. Alright, and put the edge in first, and then just kind of shove the corners in place. And then tighten the screw. I recommend tightening it all the way for all the screws, and then loosening it some. For me, I prefer 2 wrist turns. That was the tension I liked the best. Alright, now just take some center pieces, and then just start fitting them in the circles. Here we go, and do it in another circle. Alright, now this part's going to be a bit tricky, so take one of these larger edge pieces, and then find the 2 smaller pieces that fit right on top of it. Alright, and fit them together, and hold them like in this position so that you can grip all of them. And then, just do your best to slide it in there. Just kind of hold it in place until you can get the other pieces in there. Alright, and then start working on the other side. This time you can probably put the pieces in place one at a time. There. Be very gentle because they could easily slip out. And there we go. And if you're having a hard time getting the pieces to stay in there, then you'll probably have to adjust the tension some more. Okay, now start fitting them in another circle. And just repeat those same steps. Okay, so now the hard part is done. So now just start fitting the pieces in. And so you'll take one of these center pieces, and then let's look for some of the edges. Some of these center edges, just fit those in place. May take a little getting used to which piece goes where, but it's pretty intuitive. Alright, and take a corner, and note which direction the corner is facing, because it's going to be important to get the corners oriented correctly so that the cube will still be solvable once you assemble it. There we go, the first corner section is done. So you basically just keep doing that until you get to the last corner section. Alright, now for placing the next corner, it doesn't really matter where each corner goes, but they have to be oriented correctly. Like for example, if I have white down here, then the remaining 3 corners also have to have white on the same side. Also, on the other side, you need to have yellow facing the opposite direction. So the 4 corners on this side, yellow needs to be facing the opposite direction, and then the cube will remain solvable. There we go. Alright, now at this point it'll be a little easier if you put the corner in place before putting in the last edge piece. Still doable, but I will still recommend that. Then you can start fitting in the pieces around them. Alright, then here just fit the edge pieces in place, and then continue filling them in. And there we go. There! So that is how to take apart and reassemble the VCube 8. Well, if you guys found this review helpful, I invite you to check out some of the other disassembly tutorials I've made in this playlist right here, or you can even subscribe to be notified of future videos. Thanks for watching!